Can we become magnets for good in a world filled with turmoil and negativity? Can we? Hi, I'm Rev Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind. So we've got protesting in the streets. We've got millions of people infected with COVID-19. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So we got millions of people infected with COVID-19. We've got an economy in a state of collapse. We got a society that's insane with name calling and doomsday conspiracy theories. So how are we supposed to be anything but frightened, confused, and angry? Well, the answer is simple, but the execution is not so simple. It's rather difficult, in fact. In 1600, Shakespeare wrote a play called Hamlet. And in that play was a quote, "For there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." In 1940, Eleanor Roosevelt, wife of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." In 1952, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale published his book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And then in 1960, W. Clement Stone, along with Napoleon Hill, published the book Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. So throughout the many years that humans have spoken and written words, one theme remains consistent. And that theme is that no matter what the situation, it's made more or less negative or positive by the way we choose to perceive them, by the way we choose to think about it. If we choose negative, then it's going to be a negative situation. If we choose positive, it's going to be positive. Neville Goddard was a metaphysical philosopher who lived in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And he preached that whatever you focus on will manifest in your life. Basically, what he was saying is that if you focus on the negative, then negativity will rush in and surround you with all this darkness. But if you focus on the positive, that is, no matter how negative the situation around you may seem to be, if you focus on the positive, eventually you will find that the positive aspects begin to grow and manifest in your life to the point that the negativity will slowly be pushed out. It's all in the mind. Please click on the thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, please choose to subscribe. Remember, I would love to hear your comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. So please use the chat box or the comment section below. Okay. So infinite intelligence communicates with us on every level during every minute of every day. Infinite intelligence gives us little messages as well as big ones to guide us to realizing that our ultimate power is that we have the power to make our lives bearable. Not only bearable, but even joyful. We have the power. So at the beginning of this broadcast, I asked the question, can we become magnets for good in a world filled with turmoil and negativity? First of all, it's important that we realize that we are magnets already. We are magnets. We are electromagnetic beings who are constantly emanating waves of energy that affect the world around us. Those waves we emanate are calling out to objects and situations that match their vibration. So we're already attracting to us what we are. Unfortunately, for most of us, the waves we're sending out are a confused mess of hope and wishes, clouded by anger and shame, and lots of doubt. So the answer to the question is yes, we can become magnets for good, but most of us don't stand a chance of achieving that state of being because We don't believe that we can. We don't believe that we can. We don't even believe that it's possible. And even if it is possible, we don't believe that we have the power to do it. So it's a matter of belief. We don't believe it. What I'm here about today and every day, Monday through Thursday, is to convince you that you have the power, to convince you that you are more powerful than you realize you are. That you are the more powerful than you realize you are. You are a magnet. You are a magnetic being. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. So the first step in all of this is to remember that you are powerful. You are not powerful, powerless. You are powerful. And you're not powerless because you are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. I say that over and over and over again, hopefully to condition you to understand that and believe that and hear it every day of your life, to hear it in your mind. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. You hear it enough, then you believe it. If you hear it enough, it won't seem so intimidating to you. If you hear it enough, you'll begin to understand that it actually is true. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. You, yes, you. The power that created the universe exists in you as you. So how can you be powerless? How? So you got to realize that you're powerful. Next, you got to choose to embrace your life and understand that only you can change it. You're not a victim. You are not a bystander. You are the center of your life. You are the star of your life. And don't let anyone tell you differently. You are the star. So if you don't like what you see in your life, then you can begin to figure out what changes need to be made, what changes you want to see, and then plan for it. How do you plan for it? You plan for it by writing them down. What is it that you want in your life? Write it down. What is it that you want to see happening in your life? Write it down. Write it down. Write it down and repeat it every day, 3 times a day. Write it down. And here's the kicker. It doesn't have to be right the first time. Because as you go along, as you write something down and you begin to repeat it to yourself, you begin to realize, well, that's not really what I want. What I want is something under that, below that, beneath that, something that supports that. So rather than writing that, or rather than repeating that, I'm going to change it so that this is what I want now. It's a process. So write it down, read it back to yourself 3 times a day, but don't believe that it's carved in stone, because the deeper you get as you begin to do this process, you think you want this, and then you realize that what that actually is something beneath that, and you write that down, and it's like, wait a minute, what that actually is something even deeper. And you work your way down into the depths of yourself to where you get to the core of your being, and there is where you will find what it is you really want in your life, what you really want your life to become, what you really want your life to be, down there in the core. You're not going to get there right away. You got to work your way down into it. So start by writing something down. This is what I want. Repeating it 3 times a day, and then if you change your mind 3 days later, it's okay. That's what you're supposed to do. You're writing it over and over and over again so that you can work your way down to get into the heart of the matter. Into the heart of the matter. And believe it or not, you're in control. Your magnetic force is pulling you into the circumstances that are making you unhappy. It's at work now. That's what's making you unhappy. So what you got to do is realize that that's the truth, and understand that it's working now. And since it's working now and it's bringing you this, then you can change your mind and it will continue to work and it will bring you that. It's not some magical thing. It's like when you're driving a car and you decide to go left instead of right, it's a matter of turning the wheel. That's it. You're just turning the wheel. You're not doing something spectacular. You're just turning the wheel and the car will follow where you want it to go. So understand that you are in control. You are in control. And you have some things that are going to make you happy. You have situations in your mind and in your heart that are going to make you happy, that are going to bring you to some level of contentment. And so begin to write it down and go for it. Go for it over and over again. And then as you begin to understand this process, and as you begin to understand that what you see is what you get, but what you see is not necessarily the truth. Because you can see a situation and decide that it's a negative, bad situation, or you can see the good in it. You can see, people have said, my getting fired from that job was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because without me getting fired from that job, where I would have been stuck forever, I now have this over here that is joyous and full and fulfilling. So how do you look at it? You can look at being fired from that job as a negative thing, or you can look at being fired from that job as a positive thing. It is all in how you look at it. So be grateful for the good stuff. Look for the good stuff. Be aware that there is always something good there. There is always some aspect that is good, and latch onto it and be grateful for it, because whatever you are grateful for will multiply. Because by being grateful, you're telling the universe, give me more of that. Give me more of that. Next, believe that you are enough. That's a lot of people believing that I'm enough. Dale Carnegie was a motivational speaker. He wrote a book, How to Run Friends and Influence People. He created courses, success courses, management courses. I've taken a few of his courses. One of the things that stuck out with me with Dale Carnegie, of all the stuff that he has written, he said, don't compare your insides to someone else's outsides. Don't compare your insides to someone else's outsides. What he's basically saying is that as you look around and you may see people that you envy and wish your life was like that. So you may see someone whose life is a whole lot better than yours. And then all of a sudden you're shocked to the core because they committed suicide. So what does that tell you? Everything is not as it seems. So don't compare your insides to someone else's outsides. Remember that you are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. You are different. You are unique. And you have a right to have what you want for you because it's yours to have, not because somebody else has it. But you have a right to have what you want. Not because of somebody else, but because of you, what you want. It brings us to love yourself. You're not as bad as you like to accuse yourself of being. Love yourself. Forgive your past mistakes. Love yourself. Remember, those past mistakes, those things you're holding against yourself are past, for one, and they also, you were doing the best you could do under the circumstances at that time with the information you had available. You were doing the best you could at that time. Today you know better. Then you didn't. So let go of the past. Let go of the past and stop looking looking at it as a negative experience. It was a lesson, lesson, a lesson. You learned from it. It taught you something. Look at what it taught you. Look at what good came out of it. Be grateful for that. Be grateful for what you learned. And believe it or not, you are stronger for it. You're stronger for the experience. Love yourself. Love yourself. So, can we become magnets for good in a world filled with turmoil and negativity? Of course we can. We were born to be that. We are here to make the world a better place. We are designed that way. The only thing that is stopping us from being the wonderful, dynamic, loving, beautiful beings that we are supposed to be is our own perception of ourselves. And if you look in the mirror, and you don't like what you see, do not break the mirror. Remember what Michael Jackson said. I'm starting with the man in the mirror, and I'm asking him to change his ways. So it's not the mirror's fault what you see. It's here. It's your perception. Change your perception of you. Understand the mistakes you had made were lessons. Understand that you are a beautiful being. Understand that you are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. You are powerful. You are powerful. You are wonderful. And you're ready for a change. Aren't you? Please click on the thumbs up button below. And if you haven't already done so, please choose subscribe. Remember, I would love to hear your thoughts and your comments. So please use the chat box or the comments section below. So let us close with prayer. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for bringing us all together in this life so that we may become the spiritual warriors that we were born to be and join in the work that we have come here to do. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for bringing us into this space of awareness and a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship to life and infinite intelligence. Thank you. Thank you for showing us who we really are. We open our minds and our hearts to the truth of our being. We are the children of God. We are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence. And because we are part of the greater whole, we are beginning to understand our value to the continuity of life on this planet. And as we become channels of your power, infinite intelligence, we can feel your presence within ourselves and within our lives more and more and more each day. And we know that as we feel your presence within our lives every day, we will rise. We will rise because we are no longer cut off from you by being immersed in the darkness of fear and anger and shame and the pain of unforgiveness. So we are now restoring our connection through the grace of forgiveness, knowing that as we learn to forgive ourselves, knowing that as we have learned to forgive ourselves for the pain we caused to others, as well as to ourselves, and knowing that as we learn to forgive those who caused pain to us, our connections will grow stronger and our lives will grow happier and healthier and more prosperous. And for this, we are truly grateful. As above, so below. As within, so without. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Remember to hit the thumbs up button. Choose subscribe. Write a comment on the comment section. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.